In order to format our heads-up display, we begin by clicking on HUD options, and that will bring us to this screen, which I guess I'll call the HUD manager for now. Before we actually begin working on our heads-up display, I want to start with the HUD filters. I think it's important to establish filters so that the data that we're viewing will be historically relevant and within the appropriate context. And setting up our HUD filters allows us to do just that. Those of you that are familiar with the original Hold'em Manager probably have a pretty good idea of what you're looking at right now. So I'm going to try and be brief here. Establishing filters based on the number of players at the tables ensures that our HUD stats match up with the type of game that we're playing, and that we aren't, for example, mixing our heads-up hands with full ring. You'll see my player filters here. It's a work in progress. I've tried to structure mine so that the data is as relevant as possible while casting a wide net, so to speak, so that I can include a large number of hands on a given player. On the right-hand side, we can filter by date. I've got mine set to 6 months right now, but for those of you that play more or less volume, you may want to adjust this number to whatever suits you best. Moving on to displayed stats now. This is where I think we really get to see some of the true power of Hold'em Manager 2. Again, anyone familiar with the original Hold'em Manager probably has a good idea what they're looking at right now. On the right-hand side, we've got the list of stats that we can add to our heads-up display, and the stat groupings with their appropriate drop-down menus. And then on the left-hand side, we've got the stats that we've already chosen to display. I mentioned earlier that Hold'em Manager 2 comes with a variety of preset layouts. We can actually find these in the top left-hand corner here, along with any layouts that we've created ourselves. And you'll see as we adjust our heads-up display, this image will actually change to give us an idea of what we're going to be looking at during our session, so that we don't need to, modify our heads-up display, play a few hands, or look at the replayer to see what we're going to be getting. It's all displayed for us right up here in the left-hand corner. You can see there's a lot of different HUDs that they've already got loaded, some for tournament play, for different game types. They've got one on graphs for, I suppose, those of you that learn better with your information in charts and graphs. I haven't really given graphs a fair shake yet. I haven't really tried them out. They didn't seem that appealing to me. Perhaps it's something I should look into. And we can also establish our HUD to adjust on a street-by-street basis. This is something that's outside the scope of this video, but it's pretty cool. What we can do is we can structure our heads-up display so that when we're on the flop, we get a certain HUD for the flop, or the same for the turn and river. And these are just these layouts here are just kind of like the seedlings for what we can really do with these stats. I think it's a cool idea. It's something that I haven't put too much work into yet, though. Anyways, though, what I'm going to do now is I will run through some of the stats that are available to us in Hold'em Manager 2. I'll talk about what I use in my HUD, and then we'll go from there. So first of all, under miscellaneous stats, you've got your, money won by time, all that kind of information. The only thing that I really wanted to point out was the name stat. You'll see I don't use mine. I don't think many players do nowadays. It's kind of a relic. I put my HUD panels right below the player anyways, so I already know what their screen name is. And by removing this, it saves me valuable screen space. These, I believe, are new additions. These are versus hero stats. Let me just pull up. Here we go. These are versus hero stats. These are pretty cool. You see they've got a lot of stats. Most of them focus on 3-betting and, I guess, pre-flop situations. I've got a pop-up that I created for these. So far, though, frankly, haven't found really anybody with a sample that's large enough for me to trust it yet. But these are really cool stats. I really like the idea that they've gone with here. Min raise stats. These, I have no intention, actually, of using on my HUD. I just think that they're cool, and I want to talk about what my plans with them are. I think that these min raise stats, what I really want to look at, I personally only min raise when we've got short stacks in late position. So for me, I'm not really sure exactly how other players respond to min raises, or how successful this min opening strategy is. So I've got to figure there's probably a way that I can use these stats to figure out how successful my opponents that employ this strategy are, and I can see, maybe I want to add it more into my game. Maybe I don't like it and I want to try and find something I can exploit in it. So I think these min raise stats are pretty cool.